So hi everyone. Let me play some music as usual at the beginning. And now we will continue on the Neo retest plugin. And I had a small issue there I want to fix. And for that we would need to adjust the build server. But first let's open up our usual setup. This one and then another one. Testing. And then BSP. And what I have to fix here. I'm just thinking if I should write the test directly for it and then fix it, or first look into how to fix this. The problem is I had some changes last time here. Changed how we collect the test cases and how we build up the tree. And what I thought there, that let me just maybe find the place here. Yep. This is currently how it works. We have the tests and the different test cases that we show here, and we have two properties on this response that we use to build up the tree. And the one is called fully qualified name. Let me find it here. This one, fully qualified name, which should be the fully qualified name of the test case. And then we have also here the test case display name. And before I used for the ID of the test the display name. Before I used the fully qualified name as the ID, and yeah, for the name I used the display name. And the issue here is that the fully qualified name does not have parameters included. So if I have this test here where it only differentiates on different test parameters that are passed to this test, the fully qualified name, as it actually is provided by build server, is only the first part here. So we get only this part here and cannot differentiate between those two tests, and therefore I had issues when I run the test. But this data comes from test case discovery, and when I run a test, then I want to add the output to one of these nodes here, and I have to find the node, and I cannot find it via full qualified name because it will not match one of this specifically. And currently it's provided only in the display name. So in the display name I have everything included, so with the parameters here. And I'm not sure if I just mapped it wrongly, so maybe I should show or set what I set for display name, fully qualified name, or maybe, yeah, there's just something wrong. And now when I got the response of a test run, I need somehow to find to which node it belongs. And I have a display name there, but here in the display name is only the fully qualified name in there. So I cannot, if I run this one, I cannot know if this is really belongs to this one or to this one, because I get in the response only this part here. So this is what I'm will try to solve today, and then we will see. And we will see how far we get. So what's this called here? This is test finish. So test finish parameters. So I add the fully qualified name in the display name here. So okay, when I search for the fully qualified name, this one. Discovery event handler. So here on the test case discovery, we use for the display name the test case display name, and test case fully qualified name for this property, the same name. I'm just wondering why the fully qualified name does not include the parameters, but I guess it's how it should work. Right, fully qualified name does not include function signature. just wondering why my LSP does not work. Discovery, event handler. Which type is this test case? Here. Does not work. Yeah, maybe I have to fix LSP issue first. Okay. It's my fork. The update branch. Okay. Git pull. Source, Microsoft. Oh, it's just language server. Code analysis language server. Takes quite a while. In the meantime, we can look at our LSP config. Here, config nvim LSP. widget, history. So maybe something changed in the upstream neovim. Why it's not picked up or something. Okay, let's try it again. No, nothing in there. Let's see if it's something on the configuration changed, maybe. Configuration for LSP clients is done via LSP config. So when an LSP client starts, it resolves the configuration by merging configurations in increasing priority from the following: configuration defined for the star name, configurations from the result of merging all tables returned by LSP name Lua files, in runtime path for server of name, configurations defined anywhere else. The merge semantics of configurations follow the behavior of table deep extend. So results in configuration, its command. It returns the whole thing here. Object defined in init Lua config for file type. It will overwrite the rest. Okay, let's see. I think it changed here. Yeah, because before I was using LSP config. Hi, Rashid. How are you? Yeah, I think I have to return here now the Roslyn config directly, so something. Oh yeah, thank you. I always forget that this. Better now? So we'll try just to return here Roslyn config. This should return the configuration. Thank you. So now we don't need this one, and let's see what happens here. Okay, we need to clean this up. All the logs here. Come on. Yes, it's fine. So now we open up Discovery event handler. See what the LSP does. Nothing. But I guess I have to activate it somehow. There was something in this regards. I think this was this enable LSP Roslyn. So now Discovery event handler. Now it looks better. So let's search for the test case. Plus executing Lua callback. No solution. There is no plugin manager, but I use Lazy for plugins. But this part is LSP related, and it's related how neovim will handle LSP configuration in the future. So basically, let's show you. What we will do in the future is you can put an LSP config file in a specific directory, which is in this case config neovim LSP, and then like the name of your LSP .lua, and this will be sourced when you open neovim. And then you can define if you want to, like, which language server you want to actually enable the configuration is sourced, but it is not enabled by default. And yeah, it's that complicated because I wrote it myself. I use not neovim config for this specific for the specific language server, and that's why it's a little bit more complicated than usual. It just the new Roslyn language server. Most of the folks use OmniSharp if they develop .NET with neovim, and yeah, but this one is new and it should be more performant, but it also lacks some features and it misbehaves a little bit because it's like needs special care and needs special handling of some things, because it's not 100% following the the language server spec. There are some out of spec functions that have to be called that it works properly, and that's why it's yeah, a little bit more complicated than usual. But hey, I learn a lot of stuff because of this. How language server is configured in neovim under the hood and stuff like that. Discovery event handler, go back. So the server runs properly. Root directory is discovered also properly. But it seems that it didn't find the solution. Let's maybe rebuild the solution. Maybe it needs just a reload here. And yeah, after that, let's jump to the test case again. Now it fails again, yeah, and read the issue. In vim lsp buff read post auto command for star. Executing lower callback. File type Lua. Auto commands for star, file type auto command for star, vim append lsp roslyn error on attach error. No solution and no CS project found. Okay, this is something I do. This is one of the things that I mentioned before. It needs special handling. So usually when the language server starts, you give him some configuration and where the root path is, and it starts up, and you can use it. But for the Roslyn language server, after you started it, you have to send some out of spec requests to it to initialize the server. And what you have to do is basically provide via these requests the solution file or the CS project file where in which scope you want to operate with the language server. Let me just open up again config neovim lsp. So, and we created here on init solution function, which is called here on attach. So when we attach to a buffer, we try to find the solution file. Or we try to find the CS project file. But it seems could not find any of those. Or maybe this attach function does not run properly or something like that. Return the config here. Just thinking if we should try to use it here on init, or use this on attach. Every time we open a new buffer or go to a new buffer, oh, think it could be related to the problem that it's currently not to the file where I want to jump into is not in the same workspace as my whole project is, because this class comes from the from a library for Microsoft, so it's just a dependency of my project. And now maybe we print out the name of the buffer, because on attach it tries to find out to which project this file belongs, to which project or to which solution this file belongs. And if it's out of my workspace, it cannot find any solution or CS project file. So this would fail. So either Either I skip the specific buffers, yeah, I'm currently not sure how to handle them. We could just print here first the name of the buffer, right? Vim API buffer name. Buffer number. Just wondering why I have a 0 here if I get the buffer number from there. There should be the buffer number. Buffer name. Something like that. And yeah, this should be a string, right? So it should be fine. Try it again. Yeah. So it's somewhere in the temp directory. Metadata as source. So let's copy this one for the future. Key compilation metadata as source file provider. And yeah, it fails here. Buffer read post auto commands 4-star file type. But the jumping kind of works. That file only that I get this error. We have very similar journey, bro, except I'm just learning how to code. Best of luck to you. Hope to see your channel grow. Thank you, Rashid. Very kind of you. Yeah, I see you around. Hope to see you more often. So let's go back. Let's open up Rosin LS stuff here. On attach. So maybe we should create here special handling for this kind of files. Just wondering what the structure is of this. These are GUIDs or something, but what they belong to, is it project specific or solution specific stuff, or is it kind of a hash or something? Decompilation metadata source file provider. At least what I could check for is if the path begins with temp metadata as source, right? Then I at least know it's this special file. And for them I don't need to do this discovery for the solution or project they belong to. Okay, then what we would do is we get the name of the buffer. Buffer name. And then we check if buffer name matches pattern. The pattern would be, should begin with this stuff here.
Is it recording?
Don't remember the syntax. Of this one. So let's see. Patterns. So patterns. A dot represents all characters. Where X is not one of the magic characters. Stands for a single. The character works as escape character. Any sequence REPL of the form with n between 1 and 9 stands for the value of the end captured substring. See below. It works as escape character, so we don't need this one. This query. Actually, and then let's just wrap this stuff here. Try to find solution RCS project for files from libraries outside of the project. Something like that. So again, test case. Oh, I did it in the wrong way. Should be the other way around to check, right? If it does not match here, so not matching, then we should do this. Right. It's not the I wanted discovery handler. Test case. So now it worked. And now it's okay. So what do we have here? We have a display name, fully qualified name. The display name can be null. That's weird. That's interesting. We have here fully qualified name. But in the display name, if it's not null, or empty, we return the display name. Else we return fully qualified name. Contains managed method and type. It does not contain managed method and type. Return fully qualified name. Else is managed type dot managed method. Decompilation logs. Okay. So the question is, do we get the display name? This one? If we get the property display name, or is this empty and we get this other behavior here that we concatenate managed type and managed method? What's a managed method? Managed method. Not. Exactly is managed calling convention. From what I can tell, the document describes the managed calling convention as the platform's native calling convention. And they are private here. This is also private. 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 So I have I have to use the display name. Test case ID. Protected set property value. Let's jump all the way back here. What do we have here? The ID. Let's say test case. We could also have an ID. Test case ID. Could not harm to add the ID. So what I would add here is the ID. Call it ID. Have it required. Have it let it be a string. Let's just also jump in here. Make it bigger. No. Okay. Let's jump to the BSP neovim, because I have to change it here also in the protocol. Test case discover data. Fully qualified name stuff. Let's copy this. Here it's ID. And it's a string. And it's unique ID of the test case. Let's do to string here. And then let's find the other places. On test finish. Test finish parameters here. So display name, qualified name, test fit. And we could have an ID here also. Just look at the spec if the fields are defined there. Test finish data. Test finish data kind and test finish data are not defined, so I can add whatever I want there. All right. Optionally structured metadata about the test completion, for example, stack traces, expected actual values. So could we copy this part also, so we know what we could add here also. The line is not relevant here. Could add the build target. The source. Path. We don't need this one actually, because we should know them already from the test case discovery. I think it's not relevant on the test finish data. Build target. Let's see if we have a build target here somewhere. So we have the target identifier. So let's just rearrange them a little bit here. The data members, ID. This one is actually a string. Let's go back and add a string here. And then we have this target identifier. The target, I guess it's called always. That should be required. This one also. Not sure if it's always have to be set, but let's assume for now that it always should be set. Okay. And those three. We would also need to add here on the BSP side. Test finish. Test finish data kind. Test finish data. Test finish. Test finish data kind. Test finish. This is, I think, how I called it here. Yep. Add all the stuff here. Blah blah. Need this one, don't need this, don't need this one. So only the names. So ID. Here the build target. Just unique test as ID. This one is not a string. This is BSP build target identifier. Build target search. The target to which the test case result belongs to. Fully qualified name of the test case which result belongs to. Okay, this should be it. Okay, let's see. Build and publish. Let's rebuild and publish server. And let's open up here. And actually we could use something else than the fully qualified name to identify the test cases. Now that we have an ID, we could just use the ID here, right? Directly. And here on the finish, on test finish, we try to get the nodes not with fully qualified name here, but with the ID. Test case ID. Let's call it like that. Here, the test case ID, and this should be it. Let's test this actually here. Make it a little bit bigger here. So let's try to run one of those tests here. Okay, I have an issue there. This is on the test run request. And it seems that I have 2 passed tests, but I only tried to run 1. And this is because how I do the request. We look at it here. And the commands, we have the run command. And what I do there is if I run this test, if I want to run this test, then I give here the fully qualified name of the test, which is not that unique because, as I described before, those 2 tests have the same fully qualified name, and yeah, we need either the ID of the test case, which we now have, and use this to run the test, or use the display name, but I guess the ID is just the best way. So we could use here the ID. Oh, we don't need the extra here, we just use the node ID. And this here should only work for node type if this is a test case. Then we do this. Okay. This should work. But we have to change maybe this part here. The fully qualified name is not enough, so maybe it should be something like test ID or test case ID. Just think about if I call it here test case ID, I should maybe rename it on the other responses too. Or just call it ID. Then it will match with the others. Just wondering how this should work with .NET CLI, because the .NET CLI has also this capability where you can run a specific test, but how does it behave with data-driven tests, where you have multiple test cases with different parameters for the test function? .NET test filter. So with .NET test command, you can use filter expressions to run selected tests. This article demonstrates how to filter tests. For example, use .NET test if you're using VS Test Console, replace filter with test case filter. Okay. Great, and then expression, right? Expression is in the format property operator value. Expressions can be joined with Boolean operators for Boolean or for Boolean and so on. Expression can be closed. Okay. Name. Fully qualified name. Test class, my test method. For name or display name, use the URL encoding for special characters. For example, to run a test with the name my test method and a string value text, use the following. So it's called with the name. Oh, and it differs depending on the framework you use. So sometimes it's name, sometimes it's display name. Yeah, I'm wondering how the ID is generated for the test case that we saw. Because it's GUID. if it really stays the same between rebuilds of the test project. So what I could do, maybe use the display name to run the test. It should work with this. Or something else, right? Let's see, I have here debug information somewhere. It's a big D. What's the ID of this node? It's run state. So this is the ID. This is the name. Let's copy this. And cannot search here. So again, it was here the ID 742. Okay, they differ. So this was the output of this one. So processing compilation, something. So that's fine. So the actual output of the test run is mapped correctly, as it seems. So this with the test IDs works properly here. Only that when I try to run one of the specific tests, it does not work because I only use here fully qualified name as a filter, which just catches both of the tests with this filter. So let's actually see here if we can change that. Test runner. Test run event handler. not the one I searched for. Test parameters. This one is the build target test. Build target test, that's the request. So it's handled here. Okay, fine. We got here project. Run all tests. So we load the project, this build logger. Logs and then run all tests. Target path. Arms origin ID. Check target value, context. So setting up the runner and so on. So we have test case filter. Project target. New project. Sort of filter, test case filter. The options. Filter regex placement. Decompilation log. Okay. So that's the filter here. Filters, it's the project target value. These are the project targets here, a dictionary, a list. So, okay, I forgot that already when I wrote it. So we have the project target as the key of the dictionary, and we have a list of filters. So .NET test. .NET test arms data filters. The range of filters. Let's jump back here. So we have filters. So we could try it with the ID. Fully qualified name was not enough. We could call it display name, just name, and get it from extras. Or actually add it here. It was here name. Node name. We have also name. Not sure if this is just not documented or if this is not possible to use the ID. Let's see how's that filter. Making changes in options. When using Microsoft testing platform, please refer to the testing integration for the supported options. As the rule of thumb, every option non-related to testing is supported, while every testing related option is not supported, as is. Okay. Mm-hmm. .NET test filter run by test case ID. Maybe there is something. So I saw it's just filtering by test ID. In addition to the left-hand side items listed, and it supports filtering by the test ID through ID keyword. The ID may only be selected using the is equal operator and is intended only for use by programs that have explored the tests and cached IDs, not for general use by users. Yeah, that's fine. That's what I'm trying to do. The reason for this restriction is that users have no way of predicting the ID that will be assigned to a test. ID is not persistent across test runs, and its format can differ between different framework drivers. Yeah, that's also fine. So the namespace keyword with is equal with not match namespace. Keyword with equal will not match on sub namespaces. To test for equality, a single equal sign may be used as well as has the same meaning. Okay, and by ID, on the left-hand side, items listed and even supports filtering. ID may only be selected using the operator is intended only for. Okay, yeah, then let's try it. This should be enough, and we should just add double equal signs, right? And we should remove then this one, as it should work for everything. And then we could try that out, as the rest should be already implemented in a way that it should work out of the box. Okay, then let's close this. So see, we want to run only this one. Nothing happened. That's n unit, and I use x unit there, I guess. So x unit runner run test by ID. Compatibility. Settings. Filter. Query filter length. Is this the one? Category. And discovery event handler again. We have here else test case, code file path, display name, number source, cache lazy values on serializing. Local extension data. The properties, traits. So, and then else. So escaping special characters. Let's try just with one equal sign. This will, if this will behave differently, we don't need to save this one. Okay. And this one, nothing. It would be really a pity if they didn't provide the possibility to run a test via ID. So maybe we could look at the source code here. Run test via ID. Maybe we can find your test case. It's used. This case. In a context. Right, test case filter. Test case metadata. Display name. Class name, method name, type, and so on. Unique ID. That sounds good. An identifier for the test case should be able to discriminate among test cases, even those which are varied invocations against the same test method. Theories: this identifier should remain stable until such time as a developer change some fundamental part of the identity assembly, class name, test name, or test data. recompilation of the test assembly is reasonable as a stability changing event. So basically this would mean I have to update my test tree every time I recompile the assembly. But that's fine. No. Network Discoverer. Test Runner. Unique ID. Test unique ID. Don't have anything here with filter. Unique ID. Starting assembly unique ID. Optional unique ID for the test case, if not provided, will be calculated. Let's see this one. Claim right theory test case. Okay, no. Test execution summaries, test cleanup failure. Yeah, quite some of the occurrences of this unique ID. Test case unique ID. run a helper. Test class message. Fail a test with the given exception. So the question would be how this unique IDs. How this unique ID should come in. Maybe it's a GUID, but maybe it has to be without the dashes or something. Let's try this. If we remove the dashes. We remove the dashes. So .NET greater string. I think that was a big N or something. Yeah, that's a big N. So let's try this. Here, and we have it also here. And I think that's it. So then we try here again with this or this one, or we could try also just with one like this. So if we have all of them, they are combined with an OR, and if it works for any of, like for this combination, then we can remove it one by one to see which one we really need and which one we can drop. But for now, it would be important to actually get it running, get it working. Okay. Recompiled. Okay, then let's again run this one. Failed. And let's see what the BSP log says. Log or console. Let's go first in the console. Test case filter. So the test case filter is set properly, as it seems. But it does not work. My test message. Project assembly runner. Test assembly unique ID. Is it called actually unique ID or something? Sure, the unique ID property exists solely to compare test cases, especially as it is applied to serialization. It came into being solely to support the architecture of VS Test, which does discovery in one process and execution in another. Does this mean that if I am writing VS Test logger or data collector, unique ID properties in events are originally generated by unit? Honestly, I have no idea how our unique correlates to the one provided by VS Test. I was able to track down that I was looking for here. GUID from string. Anyone who finds this accident overrides the default ID generation of test platform by setting the GUID itself based off the executor and unique ID. This explains to me why XUnit theories don't generate duplicate test IDs within a run by VS Test. Yeah, let's see if we find more issues and commits to this. General functioning method tests that only differ. Edit test move remotely utility XUnit runner. Is this the oldest one? It's unique ID for this test method. But now Would be interesting if I can use it to filter test for the run. Test method, that's fine. It's generated here. Test cases, test method. Unique ID. Method name. Unique ID. So let's just try it out. Maybe if this is just called weirdly different than everywhere else. And let's just call it like this. Not sure if this is case sensitive. But let's remove the other one. So for an unit, it would be okay to do it like this, or it expects to be passed like this. Unique ID like this, and then if we copy them and add this, let's try again. Nope. Did I save it actually? Yeah, let's try again. Not sure if I saved the file. It's changes. So nope. This one should also not work. Right, okay. So unique ID just not working here. Common core SDK. Debug and display. Unique ID. Test method. Name method skip name value reason. Assembly XML select nodes. Is this workx unit 1? Test case discovered. Trade. Test assembly unique ID. Test case. Display name, test case unique ID. Test method, display trade skip read. Test method and display name. Not sure if I'm searching on the right place. Reflection repo. Test method. Okay, we have discussions. We had a look here. We look here also. Method, test case. Convert to simple type name. Pull request. Allow collection attribute to reference a definition class directly. Type full name, unique ID. Wait, what's there? Calling unique ID in the default test case. The script or provider caused an exception when there were test method arguments that could not be serialized. I think that's something different. Attempt to fix this one. Attribute to reference a definition class directly. Looked at the tests yet, as I wanted to see the impact on the production code first. And a few more things popped out to me as I did that. Okay. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly what I have. This yes test run of fully qualified name filtering does not work with multiple tests on the same name. Force unique names. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do here. The unique name requirements comes from Visual Studio. Unique name requirements. And unfortunately, they didn't offer any kind of differentiate between a unique identifier versus the named used to filter tests. I'm not saying get rid of unique name, but I don't see why we can't keep the original name when we filter off fully qualified name, or even just filter the list first before pending the unique ID. Pretty old. So maybe it's easier to find it when we find the definition of this class where I set the filter. So we have the target test handler. I think there it was here. Just move this one a little bit. And here we have this test case filter. And let's see how this, if we can find it here, or maybe it's somehow abstracted away. Okay, there's a test case filter interface. Just Axion and Trana common, okay. Where do we get this one? Filter test on serializable theory data with .NET Test. Looking for his display name. Keep the parenthesis for backslash so ID get the message. Or I get the message that said incorrect format for test case filter. This is something you're going to have to take up with this test team. They're the ones who have defined this filtering syntax, so they'd be the ones to tell you what would take to be able to properly filter the test. to be able to filter the test cases to decide which ones to run. If this is not set, then all test cases will be run. Okay. Assembly runner. Test case. Function. How is this related? Seems like this is the function. Filter which test cases to run, but where is it set? Right, test case filter composite. Test case filters. The traits. Name and value. Evaluator. Query filter parser. Query filter parser. This sounds like something that could be really close related. Filter assembly. Filter namespace. Class simple name. Method simple name. Segment factories. Doesn't return a filter that represents the query. Those logical expressions. Filtering. Simple filter query filters. Test case, high test case filter. Namespace, method, full name. Fail, class simple name, class full name, filter assembly. Filter compositor, query filter parser. XUnit filters. Class filter method namespace. Trade class method namespace. So it really seems that it's not possible like this. I mean, we could test it just with the display name, right? And use extra. Did we use this already? Display name. I'm not sure about this thing. Let's test this. So display name didn't work. This display name. Is it just the double equal signs? Nope. Yeah, I also don't see where the display name is used here at all. Filter assembly. It's all the filters. We looked at some of them already, right? Logical and method full name. Query filters, simple filters. Card empty. Query filters. Excluded. Add included class filter. Included method filter. Namespace trait filter. Add query filter. From the query syntax. Yep, let's get this one. All string comparisons are done case insensitive. Assembly filter, namespace filter, class filter, method filter. Trait filters. Query. Trait. Multi-queries in a single statement. Okay. With an OR. Multi-part queries cannot span across segment boundaries. Negate a segment query. Specify a query filter. Name value. Hi, blue chips. That's actually Zen. This one. It's based on Firefox, I think. So it seems that it's not possible, but I think I will open a discussion here if it could be used somehow. Unique ID. There was only one discussion about this. Discovery sync. Issue. Unique ID property exists solely to compare test cases, especially that applies to serialization. So the PR that was submitted here. Test method, test case. It's a type into a name string. Question. Using unique ID with.NET test filter. Is it possible to use? So how we should describe this? We have the build target test handler, right? Blue chips, now I'm not using GNOME. It's Cosmic from System 76. I think it's currently in alpha or beta. I'm not sure, to be honest. Let's just look it up. Cosmic. Alpha 5 it's currently. Yep. It's really an interesting new project from System 76, where they wrote desktop environment in Rust. I'm not using Pop! OS. I'm just using the Cosmic desktop environment, or I think it's the compositor, but yeah, they call it also desktop environment. I'm using Fedora, but with the Cosmic desktop environment. And to be more precise, I use Atomic variant of Fedora. So it's currently Fedora Atomic Cosmic. Was it introduced? There were some discussions around that. January. This one is from October. So yeah, I'm using currently this one. It kind of semi-official for testing only. But I'm using it for a while now, and it works most of the time. I didn't encounter many bugs, but I'm not using it also heavily, just for this kind of work like streaming, and I don't use too much different applications. So most of the time it's the terminal and the Zen browser and OBS Studio, and that's it basically. I usually just use KDE or Cinnamon. Yeah, I know some guys who like KDE more than GNOME. I'm actually more a GNOME guy. I just like the design a little bit better. But I hear that KDE is, yeah, you can customize more with KDE. It sounds nice, but actually I was a GNOME guy. I don't use GNOME. Yeah, I didn't use it for 2.5 or 3 years. On my working laptop, I'm using Sway most of the time, and for streaming, and yeah, on this desktop PC I use Fedora Atomic with this Cosmic desktop environment, and on my private laptop I also use Sway. I'm pretty happy with Sway, and I would use it also for streaming. But I thought something didn't work there properly with OBS. That's why I decided to use Cosmic, and here it works perfectly, so I was sticking with it. So, console wrapper. Console wrapper. Targets, default run settings, test options, filter options, filter regex placement. Yeah, I should write it down. Maybe I will just mention that it works here in NUnit. Yeah, away. To select test. I am currently implementing test case. This Discovery. For unit tests, right? Unit tests. Test case discovery and ability to run. Use no neovim plugin and search for a way to run a specific test case via its unique ID. I think it's called here unique ID. I saw in any there is a way to pass the discovered test case ID via .NET test filter, something like ID. If something like this is possible with X unit. Test case via its unique ID. So in any there's a way has to discover test case ID. Pass the discovered yeah. Yeah, I did searched for similar discussions. Let's see. Do we have there. So maybe we search here for display name, It should be somehow stable as it is in the documentation. .NET test filter. We looked at this before. XUnit syntax. So for the name I would need to escape this, as it seems. Use the URL encoding for special characters. That include a comma for generic type params. Escape the comma with one, for example. Okay. Category. Yeah, the examples with like really easy names here. Without any weights or test cases, or how it's called here. Search this one. not what I wanted to copy. Let us copy this. And okay, request the target compile for project success. So it's actually a build target test. Build server protocol tests. Build protocol tests here. And no project. So this is a theory with inline data. So it would be nice to have some examples for theories. So I could URL encode this one just to try it out. Display name like this, like this. So then I'm not sure if Vim has this built in. Okay, but I have just for testing, just use this one, require, that's my own lib, and there was URL encode node extra, no, it was name, I guess. The name, you had the display name. So here, or I'll encode this one and try it. And yeah, let's look in the BSP console. Do we get there? no test matches the given test case filter. So maybe we could just try here. .NET test list as a test list. Now list tests on -t. Yeah, copy this, right? Minus filter. And display name should be equal this. So what should we escape here? It's 22 URL encode decode. Okay, not sure. We can also just decode this. I have only the encoding. So I never added the decoding. So rel decode. No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, 22 decode. Okay, that's our quotes. Here we are. So we should escape the quotes. So it would be 22 right here. 22. So it should be like this. Okay, maybe you should also get more. Here in the example, it was okay to have spaces in there. Seems weird to me. X unit, .NET, best filter X unit with display name. And display name or theory, something like that. Yeah, that's the one. Parentheses can be escaped using backslash. So that's what I did. This should be it, so should not be far away from the solution. So maybe get this here. Separately. Escape here and escape this row. This one. So using this display name equal to this one. Maybe the semicolon has to be escaped. What's with the commas? Testing platform support next unit. Testing platform, but this is a different topic, I guess. They changed the parameters for that. Well, let's see if we find something. Read. This is experimental, yeah. Enable test explorer experience. For name or display and use the URL encoding for special characters. Question would be, what are the special characters? If we escape stuff differently here. Why are parentheses not URL encoded? But the rest is. So commas could be also an issue. Let's just escape them also. Display name. Why is this changed to this? There. Maybe I have to double escape it here. Nope. No test matchstick and test case filter. Could just also build the whole display name and the whole filter in here. Name. Name, maybe can this. This one does not work. Either. So this one works. This one does not work. Okay, if I URL encode this one. That's this one. URL encode 28. No, this would be 28. Is this like this? It really doesn't like everything with parentheses here. And it's strange because if I just list the tests, right? Not test E. We get them here like this. So would this work when we delete this part? Say. So yes. It just is replaced with / reason. Maybe that's already the issue. Yeah. So I think that's it for today. We'll continue on the next stream. But yeah, I hope to resolve that soon. Let's just close this stuff. Don't need this. Only qualified name. At least it should work. Extra only qualified name. So we could just replace. String specifier counter. Return gsub. To replace this. Merge this. And so on, right? If we find what we need to escape and how, could just do an easy replacement here. So we remove this dependency. The rest can be added, I guess. So for this I also maybe need some more test projects that I can create tests for and test if this kind of stuff works. So I have to prepare a test which would discover the tests of a test project, which I have here. So test projects, and yeah, maybe for X unit, MS test, and N unit, and yeah, try to discover them and try to run them actually. See if this works, so I can reliably test for this 3 most used test frameworks. But that's another stream. See, BSP. So yeah, see you in the next stream.